you know, and some of these things feel selfish, but if we have two families come in and one says, well, I cannot come to support group on Friday because that's my golf day. And the other caregiver says, well, I'll come to support group Friday because everything I do is about my wife. Who's going to be the more successful caregiver? The golfer. The one who actually makes time for themselves and has this kind of balance. But we kind of feel guilty. But if you don't, the other one who drops everything, gives up golf, gives up all the hobbies, and it's all just about caring for his wife. So oftentimes what we see is there's regret and there's resentment that creeps in. And Lauren, I wondered if you could talk about that idea of resentment.
Being on the spot again. Well, and maybe we can talk about resentment. I think it's probably pretty black and white and logical that if we're constantly doing things that cause us pain, or that cause us difficulty, or sorrow, or anything else negative that you can think of, there's possibly going to be a little bitterness and resentment there, right? I mean, I think that's kind of a duh. Again, I think it's important to bring it to the forefront for us to focus maybe a little bit on it. To look at what's going to give us bitterness and resentment so we can avoid that. It's kind of back to this. You know, we don't want to set ourselves up for the resentment because that just narrows our coping range and adds stress. What do you think? Yeah, we don't want to be bitter, and we sure don't want to be resenting our loved one. And we already are mad at the disease.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we can accept and be mad at the disease and not resentful of our person.
Loren, I felt when you were saying try to stretch your coping area, that I feel that I'm doing that by learning here and learning, because just learning more about what we need to do to help ourselves and our loved ones has stretched my coping.
Good.
Very, very much.
Is she a plant?
Yes. It just
That-
occurred to me when you were
that's
saying
good.
that,
Yeah.
the learning, because you were talking about
Yeah.
massage and going to the beach, and
Yeah.
but
yeah, and learn, you know, that knowledge is power. I think you're absolutely right for any subject, any kind of thing in our lives. And if you can learn more, it gives you more tools. Yeah.
You know, and I think these are things that need to be discussed. We can certainly discuss your feelings about these things in support group. You can do it one-on-one with family consultants or with your own therapist. But I know that I've talked to caregivers who have felt very guilty about taking that time for themselves and stretching their coping mechanism and spending money on themselves and actually enjoying their spouse being away. And I mean, if we're gonna be down on ourselves, there's a million reasons to be down on ourselves. And we didn't cause the disease, we can't fix the disease. All we can do is change up here our attitude. So knowledge is power. You need to survive to be the advocate you want to be. And how are you going to do that? You're going to try to stay healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And that's not easy because you're so focused on your kid, on your loved one, that you forget to feel yourself. You forget to feel. You're too busy. And that's why we're so glad you took the time to come to these meetings, because we want to sensitize you to your feelings and to the fact that, you know, there's a sign in the kitchen that says, it's not really a hug, I'm taking your temperature. Joe said that. And it's true, you know, and we can see you and we can feel you and we can say, you're really fine? This is fine? You know, but you're safe here. You're safe here to talk about those things. And it's helpful in a support group to talk about the things because it opens it up to everyone else to say, oh, I thought I was the only one on that. And especially when it comes to anger and resentment. Big ones. Yes.
And I guess, Lorraine, my point with resentment is, I think for many people, they're not aware of it. And so it's one of those things that they are, when they really look at it, they say, you're right, I am resentful that I've given up all this. But we tend not, it's one of those insidious feelings that flies under the radar. And we don't realize that feeling is building, and it does build.
Yeah.
And at least, you know, if we step back, I think the term of what is a successful caregiver in this process, and we don't define it here as a successful caregiver is one who keeps their loved one at home up until the very end. And some people do, that they think that's success. If I'm able to avoid the daycares, if I'm able to avoid placement, I am successful if I keep my loved one at home until their last breath. A successful caregiver is really one who provides the best possible care you can along the way and survives this disease. And I think that really needs to be stressed, that you have a right to survive this disease. Your loved one won't.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I can breathe that one down. That's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
thank you, Clark, that's just, because that is insidious, it is insidious. Yeah.
And, you know, it's logical for all of you to regret some of the things that have happened. Some of you have given up lives in other places to come here and help. Some of you have given up lives that you once had with this person because of the disease, as well as because you've chosen to be good caregivers. So there's reason to regret and to be disappointed that this has been your path, your journey, your lot in life, your destiny, whatever word you want to put in. But when it comes to guilt, do you really need to be guilty about it? You know, I'm not so sure. And so I think, again, I'm just gonna kind of repeat myself, it helps us, whether it's in these kinds of settings or support groups, whether you're learning or sharing or whatever, to bring things to the forefront like resentment. And to look at it so that we can kind of let it in the front door and let it out the back. It's what processing kind of is. Because if we don't let some of those things in the front and out the back, they just keep a-knocking.
You know, and maybe the partner of resentment is our shoulds. You know, I should be able to do this, I'm younger than him or her. I should be able to do this, I'm a medical professional. I should be able to do this because I promised I would do this. You know, and when we should on ourselves like that, that really is not good stuff. Because we really can only do what we can do. And those shoulds are hopes and dreams that we've lost, we're losing. This is a tough disease for you guys. I'm not telling you anything, I'm acknowledging that you are walking the journey of grief and loss every single moment of every single day. And part of the resentment could be, and I've heard this, is they won't die. It's a forever. Don't tell me it's 18 years. I can't afford it. Who's going to take care of me? And, you know, this is real. This is real. And that's okay. That's okay. Talk about that with us. Get that out. Because that's the stuff we kind of keep down and no one else is going to understand that. Did you hear the laughter? Everybody understands it. Everybody understands that. And it's real.
Yeah, because I have friends, you know, because I play tennis and there's a huge community that I live in, and they keep saying, because they can see the deterioration of my husband, and they always say, how long is he going to live like this? They're asking me. It's like, I said, he can live like this for 20 years for all I know. I mean, you know, that doesn't make it easy. People are trying to be nice, but they say the wrong things. You know, and I think, oh my gosh, I don't need to hear this. You know, seriously, I don't, you know, it's like, I'm trying to cope every day. But you know, that's.
You know, and those, and I know I'm asking sort of the impossible because we play nice with our tennis friends, but those are educational moments. You know, it's like, you know, that's not helpful to me.
No, it
I
isn't.
worry about that too.
Sure.
You know, just kind of come up with some of those things that bug you that you hear. You
To
know,
be able to say something, to be able to say
Yeah.
I statements to other people and educate them.
Yes, that can be so helpful. Even when they see your loved one at the dining room or you know, doing something and, wow, is he good? I don't know, why did you have to place him so fast? Or, well, you know, and we do that to each other in this room, I kid you not. Because you see your friends and then you see their loved ones and they look great. You know, they look good because those social skills are there and they are good when they are socialized. You know, they are good. So just kind of watch what we say to each other because we can hurt each other too.
Yeah.
You know?
And one of the worst things that we see for a caregiver, we know the effect it has, is when you compare your situation with someone else's. And I should be able to do it because Betty's doing it, and look at how much worse Bob is
Yeah.
than Jim. So why can't I do it? And this disease is so different, person to person. There's not a cookie cutter part of this disease. Every single part of it seems different. That's why the best range of how long will it last, in the medical textbooks it says 2 to 20 years. That's not helpful at all. But they can't get it narrowed down because it's so different person to person.
Yes, Marilyn.
And my husband's doctor is a researcher, and he told me the last time I was there that what he expected would happen with the medication, with research, is going to be that eventually they would take something like a cocktail that HIV patients take. They take a number of different drugs. And I said, oh yes, and he said, and in the end, at least they won't die from this.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, but will it stop the dementia? I'm not sure about that. And I thought, what is that? What is that? I said that to him, I said, hey, that's no gift.
I know,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's a little reality check, you know, from a caregiver to a doctor who's into research and, you know,
Trying to be helpful.
life at
you know.
all, you know, life, let's keep life going no matter what. And it's like, please no. Some people don't want to do meds because they don't want to, you know, prolong life. Whatever your decisions are, okay. They're okay, whatever they are, you're the one living with it. Please follow your heart on that. And there are some caregivers that are placed in the caregiver role who are not caregivers. And I want to address that. It's okay to not be a caregiver. We are not all made to be caregivers. It's like when we are going, okay, I mean, when we're like this, you know, and just saying, I can't stand this one more second, don't be a caregiver. You know, and that's okay. Those are the people that need to learn to manage, and we have those caregivers come in here. And what we try to do is acknowledge that. Those are the people that, you know, maybe get home health care in, maybe do the respites more often, do daycare for sure, maybe place a little sooner. That's great. Because what we're talking about here is quality of life for your loved one, survival, and hopefully a life for yourself. If you, and I don't know if this makes any sense, but I always see it this way. You know, I see your loved one, you know, shrinking. This world is getting smaller all the time. And I get scared when you're in there with them. They will shrink you right down with them. So what our job is to say, okay, they are shrinking. Stay out here. You go where they are, come back. Go where they are, go out. Have a life. Please have a life or some interest. Don't stop the things you love to do, or you may not survive. And if you do survive, it's horrible to try to get a life back because you have no friends and don't have any idea who you are. We see that a lot, but they've survived. So and they can learn again. So just please, try to take care of yourselves.